All right, there we go. All right, guys. Thank you for joining the very first episode of Black by Popular Demand. I'm Nev Santana. I am your host. I'm also the writer of Black Explorer here on the Monthly View. And I have with me Billy Anthony, who is the writer of Follow the Money. And then I got Stephen Lamore, who is the writer of Victory Lap. And he's also the
host of Views from the Black Pew podcast.
You had to help me out there because I definitely fucking forgot. All right, man. So let's dive into it. So the name of the title, the main article that Nadia Gordon, my wonderful sister, wrote is Breaking Up with the Narcissist, Lessons from Donald Trump. So if one of you guys do me a huge favor, before we even dive in, can you look up the definition of a narcissist?
I got you, Santana.
All right, let's go.
So this is what the people at the Mayo Clinic, a very, very prestigious organization, their website ends with .org. It doesn't get more prestigious.
Let's go.
Narcissists have a personality disorder. It's one of several types of personality disorders that's a mental condition in which people have an inflated sense of their own importance, a deep need for excessive attention and admiration. They have troubled relationships and a lack of empathy for others. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say Donald Trump is a narcissist, man. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. For sure.
Oh man, can we talk about how, man, how I mean, we put this guy into office, and when I say we, I don't necessarily mean us three. But
my vote is private, man. You don't know what I did.
Anyway, how is this man as a narcissist? Let's elaborate. Let's dive in.
You guys watch The Office?
Yes, sir.
I believe it's season 4, right? Michael Scott says, "Do I need to be liked? Absolutely not. I like to be liked. I enjoy being liked. I have to be liked, but it's not like the compulsive need to be liked, like my need to be praised." I think that sums up Donald Trump. See, when you look at Trump, I might make the argument that he's a cultural figure. Trump tapped into something in his election that was kind of it was like undertone and subtle. He found that people had a distrust for government. He presented himself as an outsider, and a lot of people identified with that. Given his celebrity background, he had what's the word I'm looking for? Name recognition. So with said name recognition, people are, oh, I'm gonna give him a shot. But if you look at Trump's lifespan, it's always been about him, the center of attention. That's what narcissists are. They have to be the center of attention.
Okay. With that being said, right? How, I think you touched on it a little bit, but like how and why did we put this type of man into office?
Steve, you said it, right? He tapped into like this idea that I'm an outsider, I don't represent the establishment. All of the things that you think are wrong, I don't have anything to do with that. But I see it and I'm going to change it for you. But it had nothing to do with you and everything to do with him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you think about the electoral process, right? Everybody has different reasons for voting, right? Like the reason you vote, the reason I vote might be different. What Donald Trump election, his first election and this past election show us is that people care about one thing: self. Donald Trump, he talked about what they call kitchen table problems. Like, sure, what happens in the world is all wrong, but that's not what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about me. He also invoked fear because people fear what they don't know. People fear what they can't trust. So he tapped into that fear, got people roused and ready to go, and he made himself that their champion.
What were people not trusting? Like why were people flocking to this guy? What was going on?
So with that, you gotta understand, people distrust government in general. A couple of years ago, there was a couple of surveys that roaches were more popular than what Congress was, right? But at the same time,
Wait, hold on. Let me just rewind that. You said roaches?
Roaches were more popular than cockroaches.
I need to hear the argument for roaches. Like, I need to hear what is so cool.
No, it's not even that. They're just pesky people. People just can't stand government. But the thing is, it's our political process. Because even though congressmen are not popular, they still get reelected at 90% rates. Why? Because they have name recognition. And what happens is that with voter suppression, people just don't care anymore. It's like they're going to do what they don't do, and so people don't engage in the process. And now you have the two-party system. You got the Democrats and the Republicans. So now in this two-party system, you got 40% of people are going to vote one way. You got the other 40% going to vote the other way, and then you fight for that one in the middle, right? What Trump did is he was like, he made himself their advocate. Like, what you got to lose? You don't want this other person. Hillary Clinton had one of probably a terrible campaign because she never identified who she was. It was always, I am not him, right? But he painted her as the crook, as the cheat, lock her up, the criminal. And so for the regular person, they're like, oh, he's talking my language. Another thing he talked about jobs, right? And he made it simple. We're going to bring jobs back. Like, oh, clean coal. Really it's abstract.
Funny, right? Yeah. Because you say it like, oh, we're going to bring jobs back. And people are like, you know what? That's a great idea. I'm into that. Right. Mm-hmm. But nobody says, okay, so exactly how are you going to do that? What's the plan to do that? Doesn't matter. You know what? You sound like one of them. You sound like one of them. And you're not one of us.
And what he does well is he uses repetition. So he says everything a million times. So what that does to your psyche, it gets it ingrained. Like everybody knows he's gonna make America great again. What does that really mean? So in your mindset, you're like, oh, you understand what America, how America could be great. So it's on your interpretation. So for the people who do not trust government, oh, one time America was great, so he's gonna bring it back to that.
All right. Go ahead, Bill.
It's funny because the whole "Make America Great Again." I don't feel like I've ever seen a time when somebody's asked Donald Trump against the wall, like, okay, so Donald Trump, you talk about making America great again. Can you give me a 10-year period where you feel like America was great? I just want to understand that from your perspective, Mr. Trump. I know he would pivot. I know he would just slide his way out of it because he really, truthfully, doesn't have any. All of this is. If you ask me. And I hope everyone in the audience is asking me because I'm going to tell you. I believe this whole thing is just a notepad scribble from Roger Stone, man. This is right out of his.
Ooh, you know about Raji?
Yo, I'm telling you, this is the whole thing. This would be a case study in how his methodology works. Richard Nixon, Roger Stone, Donald Trump.
Absolutely.
It's a straight line.
And the thing about Trump, right? Is Trump is able, whatever question you ask him, he will reject the premise of your question, and he will frame it into what he wants it to be. No matter it's like boom. And so when you try to stoop down to his logic, he'll eat you alive because you can't operate in his orbit. Like once you go to his level, oh, he can hit you on his own counterpoints, and you'll be chasing from behind trying to match his logic, which is illogical, and you're looking like a fool. But what it is he
pants
also
on the ground.
Pants on the ground. And with it too is that he also has this bravado to him. Like, yo, I'm not taking nobody's crap. Like, oh, you say I can't do it? I'm gonna prove you wrong. Watch me do it. And one thing about Donald Trump is like that I like about him, even though he's a piece of crap, is that he's going to do whatever he can to get it done. However, by the crook, not even by the book, but by the crook, he's going to get it done.
By hook or crook?
No, by the crook or by the crook.
Yeah, always. We're going to start with that and end with that. And, I think you're right, man. It's funny because I was telling my wife the other day, we in a hotel, drunk off of Hennessy, you living our best life. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna really miss Donald Trump. She's like, I'm gonna leave this room right now. I'm like, no, I'm being real, babe. Like, I don't miss him as a president. I will never. I think he should have never had this job. He was just, this is a terrible job for him. But as a figure on television, this man is pure entertainment. How could I can't look away.
Crazy entertainment, man. Crazy entertainment. You can't stop watching him. Even though you don't agree with what he's saying, it's like driving past a burning car. Like you know it's bad, but you just can't stop looking at it. Like, oh my gosh, look at that burning car. Next question, Billy. I want you to start us off with this one. What did we learn from the 4 years of Trump's presidency?
I learned that whole demographic shift, that ain't enough. You know, everybody's saying, oh, you know what? There's a demographic shift happening in America. You know, is the minorities the majority now, you know, and not really. Nah. We live in two different worlds. I also learned how powerful Fox News is. I'm going to say something that's controversial too. I also know how powerful it is that you can reframe a specific incident and use it in a way that's going to benefit you ad nauseum. And I'm going to say the George Floyd protests and a lot of the things that went on there, if you watch Fox News, which I'm assuming maybe you don't, but if you do, they're playing those clips over and over. And like, this is what they're gonna do to you. This is what they're gonna do. They're gonna destroy your cities. They're burning you down. I'm like, damn, the message of it gets so lost, and the actual, like, you know, real life behind it doesn't really. That's not the point. It's this image. See this again. So, you know, if anything, I learned that being a president ain't about policy. It's about propaganda.
I think for me, I learned that Mitch McConnell is the baddest man in America.
Say it again.
Mitch McConnell is the baddest man in America. He got rid of Trump, who's messing him up, and now he keeps the Senate, and he's going to obstruct Joe Biden, and the Democrats are going to be in trouble in 2022, and it's a toss-up race in 2024.
Well, what does Mitch McConnell want? What's his agenda?
So Mitch McConnell's agenda is two parts, right? So, you know, his wife is also, I believe she's Secretary of Transportation, Judith Chow, I believe, the Secretary of Transportation, right? But he's power hungry, right? But he has control over everything. With control of the Senate, he can determine appointments, who gets appointed to the cabinets. Joe Biden, lucky for Joe Biden, him and Mitch McConnell have worked together in the Senate for a while. Yeah. So, and also they're a bunch of two white men. We can get to that afterwards. But it's also, he has the real position of influence, right? He's in the Senate, so he has 6-year seats, so he doesn't have to worry about re-election. So kind of backing up, and I know I'm hijacking the show, but this is what happened.
This is what the people want.
This is what the people want. So there's a book written by JFK. It's called Profiles in Courage, right? In the book, JFK is talking about what it takes to be a real good politician. And he talks that politician is probably one of the hardest jobs that anybody can have, because a lot of people have influence in your job. So for instance, people don't go rate doctors like they do politicians. Like, sure, you'll get reviewed on internet sites, but people don't have said influence on your job. And as a politician, basic framework as to why people vote for them is like, what is the purpose of a politician? Are you a delegate or are you a trustee? Like, do you do what the people's will want you to do, or do you do what you think is best for them, right? So that's a whole concept in itself of what you as a voter think your elected official should be doing for you. So you got that on. And then as an elected official, you got the natural desire of wanting to be liked, right? Like you want to be liked. Then you got realities of your job. Like, yo, if I don't get reelected, I'm be out of the job. Then you got then you got the voters who voted you, like your constituencies. Then you got the real pressure, the people who gave you money. Like if I give you Nev $1,000,000, I've got a million reasons why you need to pick up my phone call. Like, sure, the people back home got you there, but if I didn't give you my $1,000,000, like that person is gonna flood you in. So with that, just understanding like the mindset of a politician. So what you're gonna see with Mitch McConnell is that the people who get him there, they're the ones who are gonna be getting their little tax cuts. They're the ones who get their breaks.
That's the agenda. If we can see the donation roll, then we can understand what's coming in the next 4 years.
Like a wise man Bill once said, you gotta follow the money.
Every time. They're telling you where to go.
You gotta follow the money. You know what I'm saying? And then with that, like Mitch McConnell has a real good understanding of how things work. So in politics, there's a thing called the Hastert rule, right?
Dennis Hastert.
You know, and what he said is like, look, if we're going to take anything, we need a majority of our majority to push it forward. So what happens now is like, if he has consensus, he knows he's not going to lose. Anything that's not going to help him, he's not putting it forward. So he's the one moving the country right now. Trump is, and think about Trump will undercut him. He'll be like, oh, Trump will go say something crazy that doesn't go according to the brand. So now that he got Trump out of there, he can make every Republican fall in line.
Let's go back to that. Let's touch on that. So you're saying he's the reason why he got like
no,
Trump.
I didn't say that.
You said Trump.
So Mitch McConnell is not. We can say with certainty, Mitch McConnell is not a narcissist, or can we not? I feel like he doesn't need the attention as much.
He doesn't need the attention. I think most elected people probably are narcissistic.
In some way.
Because
you choose to do that.
Like
you don't have some level of narcissism.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like all three.
Unless the people just just from the trenches exalted you, like, we need you to do this. You know, and I'll say this, man, because I feel like in a lot of ways, Joe Biden wasn't like clamoring at the bit, chomping at the bit, whatever they say, to like become president. I don't feel like this was something he was trying. He tried a few other times and he failed. And he's like, I'm done. And then now I almost feel like the people are like, yo, we need him. He's going to be the guy. He can do this. He can get the moderates,
You know what it is he fits the mold.
Yeah.
With Barack Obama, it went away from what they knew. The white male. Obama's a rock star. So what happens is you're not going to put a woman to lead. So we're going to go out of fear. So we're going to go with what we know, a white male.
It's funny too, right? You said it too. It's a couple things that motivate people, right? You got fear and then you got hope. When the fear has quashed you, you have to believe in hope. And I really don't feel like Joe Biden really ran off of hope. He ran off of, I'm not this guy. And it was like, you didn't see, like Hillary Clinton did too, but there was no evidence that this guy was bad, Now you got these 4 years, you learn this guy is bad. I don't want that.
But then Hillary didn't fit the mold, the normal mold that you typically vote for.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that went wrong. Messaging, you don't know what her message was. I'm with her. What does that mean?
This is my date. I'm with her. That's what I came with.
And like it's also there's a level of charisma that a politician has to have, right? And she didn't fit that mold to garner real support. Like when you see Barack Obama walk into the spot, it's like, oh, my man. Even Trump. Because you gotta remember, we think of Trump now, but you gotta remember Trump prior to who was the doll of every rap artist. Like, I'm Donald Trump type. Like, I got money like Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had the name recognition. He had the platform where people like, oh, like, sure, we can look back now and know what it is, but before it was like, yo, what do we got to lose? And the thing about it is that the problem that most politicians do is they're too smart for their own good. So they try to they use this big language that confuses most people because most people don't know what they're talking about. But Trump, we're gonna bring jobs back, secure the borders, make America great again. That's really simple.
Sign me up.
You will get me a job? Oh, here you go.
How did he lose? We know how he won.
It didn't happen, bro. Like, you can say all of that, but you got to do it. Like, that's the thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like lying on your resume. You know, like, you said you was able to do X, Y, and Z. I mean, you got to give me some more time. I need 4 more years. You know, so I don't know, man. And if you ask him, you know, in the vein of a true narcissist, I didn't lose. You lost. I didn't lose. I still haven't lost yet. What are you talking about? I'm the president right now. I'm in the White House.
He's saying that he hasn't lost.
Lose. I got 70 million votes, the most votes ever gotten by a Republican candidate.
Ever.
I won.
Absolutely. And so, like, what finished him off was coronavirus. Because people were pissed about coronavirus. So that's why
we thought it was gonna kill him for like 2 days. He was like, "Damn, Donald Trump gonna die from coronavirus." He didn't.
You know. So with coronavirus, it got people involved into like the process, because now people are starting to see, like, as an executive, like, how the influence of the executive has on it. It's different than campaigning when you're governing. Like, you are the top honcho. I think also he lacked the inroads that he made against Hillary Clinton. So Biden cut into that suburban white male vote, like in Michigan, in Wisconsin, in Ohio, and he brought down the margins in those states, right? So that helped him get it. He honestly, what helped Biden is data. Like, they had a strategy and they stuck to the strategy. They kept him in his basement. So, like, yo, you're not gonna mess this up. You're not gonna fight.
Don't say shit.
You're not gonna beat Trump on toe to toe. So if you look like an adult, we can get other adults to come and vote for you.
You know what's so crazy too? Like, I remember when Hillary lost, you know, and I remember looking at Michigan and I saw the voter turnout in Wayne County. I was just so hurt. I'm like, yo, I know what that is, man. That's brothers and sisters who just like, I don't got no skin in the game. You know, they feel like it's that my vote is useless. I don't like either of you motherfuckers. When I wake up in the morning, guess what I still got to do? Go to work. And I hate my house. I hate my baby daddy, you know, X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. And it just it never penetrated to them. But I feel like these last few years, it's just been a relentless onslaught. And to a point where you almost like, yo, I just want to turn a fucking channel. Can we just change the channel?
You know, some people want to make politics boring again. Like,
this guy.
Like, it's too much excitement. Like, let's go back to boring. And the thing about it too is the conversation moved from issues to personalities. Like, we're no longer talking about like income inequality or poor. We're no longer talking about poor people. We're talking about witch hunts and recounts, this and that. And like a lot of like the basic everyday stuff that help us are not getting addressed. Because and then with that, you're so unstable that he'll do something to help himself. Like when he did the tax cuts, the markets went roaring. And then he posed the sanctions and cut his own legs off of him. So it's like, bro, like what are you doing?
Billy, you wrote a piece last month that was a really, really good piece with Follow the Money, talking about buying the black vote. And you talked about Trump's, was it the platinum plan? And then Biden's I think his Lift Every Voice plan.
Lift every voice. Also feels like no disrespect.
Um,
Pandering, both sides.
with the with the platinum plan, do you feel like in hindsight we could say it didn't resonate with the Black community, but do you feel like it did or did not, or like
It really didn't get communicated, honestly. And I feel like he just threw a couple of faces up there, to try and, connect. I don't know how much money he gave Lil Wayne, but we all know Wayne is hurt. He's doing them fucking Las Vegas residencies. I went to my bachelor party out there to go see Wayne. It was great. He did a great job. But we know, baby, took all that fucking money. We know what's really going on, Wayne. We know. And we know when Trump came to you with them dollars, you was like, yeah, what it would take? Was I hurt a little bit? Yeah, I was. Because I love Weezy. Cash Money raised me.
Cash Money Records.
Right? But at the same time, I look at Lil Wayne's history on these type of things. When he was asked about Black Lives Matter, he was like, what does that got to do with me? The fact that you recording me tell you that my life matter. He's so disconnected and probably purposefully. He's trying to insulate himself, which is great for him. But when he starts trying to influence the people that look up to him or who expect, excellence from him, because his music in many cases is excellent, so you expect excellence. That's when it gets murky for me. And I wish, because even if you look back to when Steve Harvey went up there to meet with Trump back in the day, it's all pandering. He's trying to grab you to get the people behind you, So the platinum plan, the fact that it was named the fucking platinum plan, which sounds like a fucking church fundraiser, that just, I shouldn't say that. It sounds like a bogus ass fundraiser, or you could get the platinum plan. Come on, baby.
Like it's a car.
Yeah, come on, man. This is bogus. So it's all pandering, man. But even to Lift Every Voice, even though it was much more detailed, I just feel like at the end of the day, we'll show up because, Jim Clyburn told us to come. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Steve, you were busy on Twitter. You were not Twitter. I apologize. You were busy on Facebook. You were, before the election happened, giving your fucking opinion about who's going to win, who's going to lose in each battles or whatever. You predicted that Trump would lose.
I did.
You predicted to lose big.
I said, right? I think initially I said 308, that Biden would get 308, but he got 306.
So what
within the over under in Vegas? That was within. You would have won.
I would have won.
Should have bet political money on that. But my question is, what went into that? Like, why did you already knew and believe that Trump was going to go down by such a margin?
Oh, so a couple of things. One thing is going back to 2016, polling was off, right? And I think that polling is still off, and it will forever be off because the whole art of polling is antiquated and outdated. Like if you look at some of the polls still call landlines. Who answers landlines? And the flaw also is who's going to sit there and really take these calls to give their opinion. Oh yeah, I'm voting. And I think that for me, I think coronavirus did Trump in because everything he was saying and pretending like this stuff was not real, and people are seeing their family members die. They're like, oh no, he got to go. And the fact that new people were signing up to go out and vote, people don't come out when things are good. They come out when they're upset, when they're mad and they want to make a change. And then just kind of looking at the electoral map, I think that the places that that Biden was competitive in, you had Democrats had previously done well in. Like for instance, in Pennsylvania, Democrats did well. Michigan, the governor is a Democrat. Wisconsin, the governor is Democrat. So there's also metropolitan areas in those areas. And like that allowed, because there's so many, there's like a large population of people that allowed the Democrats to sign up well. I think that had coronavirus not hit, I think Trump would have skated the reelection, no problem. It would have flipped, and he would have came right back, because I think it's tried and true. As much as people don't, as much as people feel sympathetic, they only care about themselves. Like, and that's why you see Trump, like his people, his people still came out. It's just that the Democrats had more people come out for them, and it was competitive till the end. Um, and yeah, it's one of those things. And I think that Donald Trump, if he had taken his COVID, went and sat in a corner, he'd have been okay. But the fact that he's prancing around, oh, I got the vaccine, and we're living in our homes, we're scared, we're fearful, and this dude is walking around talking about,
scared of the virus.
Don't be scared of the virus. God gave me coronavirus. Look at me. And then, like, your grandma just died last week, and you mad,
That's crazy, man. One thing I'll say, and I feel like I don't know, I'm all over the place. Part of me, maybe it's the whiskey. The one thing I learned from Donald Trump and this whole campaign, man, is like you got to be willing to use the tools that are available, no matter what they are. If you want to win, you got to use the tools. You look at Obama and the way that he was able to use like social media, because it really wasn't something anybody else was doing at the time.
Absolutely.
So he got in there, worked it up, whipped it up, Here comes Donald Trump. Oh, not only are we going to use social media, we're going to use the data behind the social media. We're going to influence you. I know where you moving, what you want to do, So I'm just waiting on, 2024, whoever get in contact with Jeff Bezos and them and figure out what you're going to vote for based on your Amazon cart. That's the next one here. Who's doing that? Tell me, and I'll tell you who's going to be the president.
Cool. Couple more questions here, and then we can talk about what whiskey you sipping on over there, by the way.
It's called Nikka, Nikka. It's a and then we drank it the other, pre-corona, post-COVID-19. This is not the coffee grain, this is the coffee malt. So This was new at Benny's. Go ahead, go check it out, y'all.
Let me go ahead and
pay that. But Benny's, if you got any money for me, come on. I'm willing to do more.
Give me a second here. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm sipping over here.
I got water. I got nothing exciting. I got water.
That's why you're so clear right now. Lucid. Is that the right
word? Sipping on this whiskey. It's called Uncle Nearest.
Is that your real uncle?
Yeah. My uncle that I never met him before in my life. But the recipe was made by a slave, and it's a very, very interesting story. If you guys want to look into like what the story is about, I definitely recommend it.
New whiskey.
Anyway, so our man Trump, he lost, right? He lost what was it, 306?
Allegedly.
72, something like that, right? Allegedly, right? So how do you see this transition happening? Because he's the president until January 20th. What's going to happen?
Grifting, and more grifting. He's raiding the bank from here on out. Because even if you look at his donations, them campaign donations, help us with the recount. Let me pay these people off. Let me get my money back up. Come on, man.
It's one of those things, right? You got to look at the other side shows to it. We still got an election in Georgia. What they're doing by not conceding is they're still tapping into that base in Georgia, keeping them motivated, because voter burnout is a real thing. So a lot of the same people who went out on election day are not going to come out again. So if you can keep your base hot and you get them angry at one up, they'll come back out. Now, if they get the seats, then your boy Mitch continues doing what he does. So what he's doing is the reason a lot of the more prominent Republicans haven't spoken out against him directly is because they know that he's a cultural icon for the Republicans. Because do you notice that it's no longer Republicans, it's Trump supporters.
The new Reagan 2.0.
I think he's bigger than Reagan, bro. I think what he tapped into is a whole machine. Like I was watching something right now and the other day, and this guy was talking about he would die for Trump because Trump has done so much for him. The thing is, Trump is just a great liar. What is disheartening to me, right, is our evangelicals, Christians, all that. When you profess the Bible and you have someone who directly goes against the fundamentals of the Bible, and you're cool with it.
And does he though? But does he?
Absolutely, he does. The basic principle of the Bible of love your neighbor and love yourself. He goes all against it.
The basic principle of the Bible is colonization. Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Well, so you got So you got the biblical Christianity and historical Christianity. I'll give you that. Historical Christianity is colonization, but when you look at the fundamentals of the Bible, it's about loving God, loving people, which is universal to all major religions. And that's why I never could understand how people just gravitate towards that. Like, don't judge a man by his, you're not judging a man by his actions. You're judging him by his fumbled words that don't even make any sense.
Yeah, what was that interview where they were like, Donald, if you could just share with us, your favorite passage from the Bible. It's anything you could think of. What's your favorite? That's very personal to me. I don't want to say it. You don't have to say the actual passage. Just what book is it?
Yeah.
It's personal to me. Come on, baby.
They asked him if he ever prayed for forgiveness. He was like, I don't think I ever had. I can't put God in that predicament. Like, I can't put him in that position.
Come on.
I don't want to look at these sins. He got other shit to do. This is a long line. This is a laundry list.
When my man said 2 Timothy, you never read the Bible. Like, everybody knows 2 Timothy. You said 2 Timothy? Oh yeah, you would never crack that joint open a day in your life.
Bible look brand new. Because it is.
All right, man. I think that's it for the Trump talk for the most part. I just got a random question because we talked about Weezy real quick. I just want to know everybody's top 5 rappers of all time real quick.
Top 5 rappers of all time. Top 5 rappers.
It's very personal. I can't answer that. It's a
top 5 rappers of all time.
Huge. It's a huge question. Huge.
It's an evolving list. It's never going to be the same. You can ask me this question again in 6 months and it's going to be different. I could give you top 5, but they're not in any specific order.
Okay. Hit us.
All right. So here we go. I'm going to go Eminem, Big, Pac, Wayne, Jay-Z.
Okay. Mine, if you're not ready to go, mine is very similar to that. But I'm switching out. You said Weezy, right? I'm switching out Weezy for Nas.
I think it's not fair, but I don't want to say the same things you guys are saying. But Jay, Big, I like Andre 3000.
That's the six for me.
Don't crucify me, but Kanye West still holds a place in my heart. College Dropout.
As he should. Yep. As he should.
He came out with some fire, yo.
DMX. DMX is my guy.
Okay.
Like, that Rough Rider anthem still speaks to me. I don't know what number.
You only got maybe 2 or 3 albums where you could go deep with X.
That's how you know he from New York, though.
What was the one? Darkest Silence High, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, and then the next one was where it started to, at least for me, I started to see cracks in the foundation.
I think if I got one more, I'll probably say J. Cole. I feel like me and J. Cole, you talk about leaders in new school, like the LL1S, those are my boys. My brothers put me onto them. LL1S, The Tribe, like that old school Buster, Charlie Brown, Dinko D.
Yo, have you heard Busta's new album?
I ain't gonna go there with me.
Have you heard Busta's new album?
I started. I didn't finish it. I started.
Music is coming too fast, man. And I'm really trying to keep up with everything that's going on out there. Like, you know, I'm probably one of the few people in my whole zip code who uses Tidal. So like, I look on there and it's just a flood, and I can't. It's hard for me to listen to Busta, the new Dirk, or I'm still listening to the young boys, and I don't know, man. I feel like because music happens so fast, you actually gotta be, in order to rise to the top, you gotta make some fucking exceptional shit. Otherwise, I don't even know. I forgot it already.
Yeah. Music is coming out every week on Tidal. Every Friday, something's dropping.
What do you think about that? Jay Electronica.
Oh man, the one that was like the old joint that came back. I thought it was great, and I'm so glad you said that, because I gotta go back and listen to it more. It fell out of my rotation, and I feel like there's certain things I need to bring it back.
Yeah,
that Jeezy album, Redemption 2, or not Redemption. My bad. It's
the Wayne. The Jeezy, the Recession.
Yeah, Recession 2.
I mean, we would be remiss if we didn't at least slightly touch on the Jeezy and Gucci verses.
Gucci made
the moment, man.
The moment.
I didn't watch it, man. I was just on my couch. I was really tired. I was fucking nodding off.
Concert in my house, man. I had my kids. All my kids went to sleep. There's only two of them. They knocked out. They were like, "Daddy, this is boring." I'm like, "Nah, you don't even understand what your daddy was doing when this records was out. Like, it was different."
You know what's crazy? I didn't know how many Jeezy songs I knew until the verses back. I'm like, I know this joint. Like,
yo, when I heard he came out with Put On.
Ooh, that was a really good one.
I was talking to somebody. I went to the barbershop earlier, and I was talking to somebody, and they were like, the reason he didn't play most of his big hits, he doesn't own the masters to them. So that's why he didn't. That's why he didn't play them.
Jay-Z owns them motherfuckers.
I'm just like, because I was like, yo, he should have came with this. He should have came with this.
He owns all the masters of all niggerdom.
Yeah, he's run through all the traps. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna get that one. I'm gonna get Yo Gotti. Let me get his. Let me get Jeezy. And like, I definitely got all the. You know what I was listening to earlier today? Beanie Siegel. I can't go on.
Oh, I can't go on this way.
Man, with no union and no benefits, no dental plan, I can't eat off no $100 grand. I got cavities that need filling. Let's go, Beans.
Beanie!
Kids will never know that. They're like,
Siegel was the name that.
I might as well be listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire. They don't.
You know what's crazy, man? What's crazy is it's I'm trying to find the words. Give me a second. I think that the rapper, right? The position of rapper has lost its status in society, right? Mm-hmm. I think that the rapper, when the rapper first came out, was an educator. You know what I mean? They told a struggle. There was an artistry they did it with, that they represented what they were going through.
Which time frame do you mean? Like, which time frame are you talking
about? I'm talking about from inception up until
the bling bling era.
The bling bling era. And it shifted to solely about self and getting wealth and like dollars and cents, right? So it's hard for me now because the artistry, I might sound like an old man, but the artistry is gone. Everybody is sounding like themselves, right? Not everybody's sounding like one another. Like it's no longer about artistry. It's all about what can I say to what he said, to sound like him, to make it the little ends that gets it. But when you think about it, right, the rapper was the hood minister. Like when you chronicle it and you look back, like the Bible, the prophets, them guys were the rappers. They were the guys calling out the king. Like, and like the position of rapper has gone to the dogs now. It's gone to the dirts.
To the highest bidder, man.
It's
gone because the whole bling structure behind it, bro, was like getting people. The officers saying we need these guys to spend money. We need the people who buy and consume this music to consume everything else. Even if they cannot right now get it, they need to aspire to have it. So whenever they get a lump sum, boom, that's what they do.
Absolutely. And look at the artist deals, right? They say you need this amount of many records, right? And like you lose control of it because if the label says we don't like that album, you still owe them another album.
Yeah, and there's no way you can recoup on this plan if they don't like the art that you bring. So
and the thing about it,
gotta fit that.
Or you gotta do what they want. They want you to make the sales, and you're pushing their agenda, right? And then, I figured it out. The same people that own the record companies support Trump. Like it's all intertwined. It's that same message.
Do I still got Jimmy Iovine number? Can I call Jimmy?
Get him on the line.
No, the answer is negative. Not in this one. I do got my man.
That's a wrap, at least for the recording. Thank you guys for joining us. This is the first episode of Black by Popular Demand. Nev Santana, Stephen Lamore, Billy Anthony. And that's a wrap. Cut it.